All right, well, welcome to another session of 5 Minutes of Team Science. And today we're going to be talking about team leader soul care. And this actually was inspired by a question that Nikolai asked at the last time for Team Science. And we were talking about the need for leaders to engage with the emotional health of their team members and to kind of be checking in with team members about their emotional health. And he asked a question that was kind of like, how can we position ourselves to do that? Don't we have to kind of take care of ourselves in order to do so? And the answer is absolutely yes. So it does, in order for us to do that for our members, we also have to understand what our emotional health is. I know there's a lot of talk about self-care, and that's very important as well. But sometimes that tends to be a bit more on the superficial side of kind of, I need a vacation or I need a massage or things like that. And those are great things and welcome things. But this kind of goes a little bit deeper to kind of our emotional health and mental health. So this quote got my attention from one of the journal articles. In a nutshell, leaders are able to listen with genuine curiosity, focus on the other versus the self, refrain from commanding, be present at the moment, have eye contact, and acknowledge that other person's feelings with verbal and nonverbal expressions, as well as offering a sharing space by relating similar experiences. I don't know about you, but I read that and I am completely overwhelmed. And it's very easy for me to, just even wonder, how is this possible on top of all the other things that I have to do? And then I can easily go into, how the ways that I don't do this and kind of really be hard on myself. But it turns out that that's kind of the last thing that is that you need to do in order to get better at this and to be able to actually have enough reserve and have enough resources yourself to be able to give to your team members. So there's a need for self-compassion because we can't give what we don't have. And I feel like I struggle with this, and I know in talking to other leaders when we get vulnerable with ourselves that a lot of people struggle with this. So asking ourselves, do we really have that self-compassion mindset? I want to give compliments to my graduate students and to the people that I lead, and I want to be that kind of encouraging person. But when I'm really hard on myself and I don't do this for myself, it comes out in ways that I don't want it to, and kind of an angry edge or other kind of nonverbal sometimes, even though I'm trying my best to control the verbal. So this is not just about the self. It really is about how to give the best that you have to others by investing in yourself. And we as leaders, you as leaders are absolutely worthy of compassion as well. When we talk about self-compassion, it is that environment in which new good things can grow. And so I wanted to raise this, especially at the start of the year when we're kind of thinking, about a lot of self-improvement and what our goals are for the year, and encourage you as I'm doing my best to make this a priority for this year for myself. I actually have this sign in my bathroom, and this is a picture of it because I need this encouragement all the time. Talk to yourself like someone you love. And that's what we want to do for others as leaders, to be the best that we can be. And in order to do that effectively, we have to practice it ourselves. Another thing that is really helpful is to have emotional check-ins for ourselves as leaders and try to make this a regular practice. I'm working on this. I'm not 100% by any means, but I am trying to have a bit of a check-in. This doesn't have to take a lot of time, but at the end of a day, or maybe at your lunch break, or whenever you have a couple minutes to just say, what's going on with me emotionally. And again, it's easy to just run, go from one thing to the next and never do this. And meanwhile, things are building up. So what is happening in my day? How am I reacting to work demands and other members around me? And then to specifically name the emotions, like what label would you put on it? And there's research to show how effective this is. And just noticing and naming them can allow us to vent in ways that prevent us from spilling over onto other people in ways that we don't. So I am frustrated right now, or I am downright angry, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm joyous. I remember one evening I was really riled up and had to do this and just kind of checking in, like why am I so agitated right now? And I hearkened back to an earlier meeting, not a meeting, a email I'd gotten from someone I was working with, and it really upset me. I felt disrespected by it. I felt, off put by it. And a lot of things were building up. And I had to kind of go through this venting exercise to get that out and to uh, try to think about other reasons why that person might have sent the email or why they were doing what they were doing. And I was meeting with that person the next day, and it turned out that she admitted that she was in so much emotional pain that really came out in that meeting. And I was so glad that I had done this, because if I hadn't, I would have approached it in a way that would have been damaging, absolutely damaging, by my kind of harsh persona, the way that I was feeling, disrespected myself, and coming across in a way. So I just give that example to show again how it's so very helpful, not just for ourselves, but also for the people that we lead. This is out of a journal article where they gave this exercise to leaders, and it was a leader self-compassion intervention. They asked them to recall a time in which you were tolerant and forgiving of your own flaws and inadequacies, and you created challenges for you as a leader. Or you try to be loving and accepting towards yourself when feeling emotional distress as a leader. They asked them to think about that, and in 2 to 5 sentences, describe the situation, what happened, how they felt, how they did. So it's a very simple intervention, doesn't take a whole lot of time. I know from my own trying to do this is hard. And I've given this exercise in some workshops and to high-level leaders who have admitted, I can't even recall a time. And so I resonate with that. And this is hard. And this is part of the exercise to say, are we doing what we should do and what we really need to do to be the best that we can be? And if not, to just try to build these times in, when we are tolerant. The reason this is very low cost, time commitment exercise, but it ended up having very significant results. So on the days that leaders were engaged in their leader role self-compassion intervention, they helped coworkers with more task-related and personal issues. So they actually documented that this intervention had an effect. They were more effective as leaders. And it was partly the mediating mechanism was they identified more with their leader role. And then they also had stakeholders rate these leaders who helped with personal problems as being more competent and more civil. So again, you think, well, this exercise, why do I need to bother? It's very small, low stakes, and it ended up having, a big impact. And that's consistent with some of the other work on self-compassion, that it can have a big impact. So I encourage you to think about when have you truly felt energized and engaged as a leader? What were the conditions that promoted that in the moment? And what can you do this year to build those in so that you can be as effective as you can be and not just be running on empty, but fueling yourself so that you can be effective for your team members. Thank you.